What's going on, everybody? I'm going to be the streamer for today. For first debut game for Mystic Cats this season. It's going to be our plat team, Mystic Cats White, which consists of today. Double check who is starting today. It's going to be Beezarus in the top lane, Icy Memes in the jungle, Coach Eggboy in mid, Opie as ADC, and then Squints as the support. And of course the trusty coach, Goonji, or Kurt Sington, as some know him. They will be going up against Team Cosmic Genesis today. For their Week 1 matchup. They had already completed draft, so I've got it pulled up for y'all here. TCG opened with Jarvan, and then MC White responded with Kai'Sa Nautilus, and Thresh added Antilles in that bot lane pick, and then the Mordekaiser came in on R3. Sejuani on R4, and then into Silas Victor on B4, B5, and then the R5 counter pick was Ione in the lane. What's up, Gucci?
Oh, we're here. We're feeling pretty good after game. I say after game 1 draft, but obviously it'll come down to execution more so at the skill level than anything.
Yeah, obviously I don't want you to reveal too much, but kind of walk me through your guys' thoughts as this draft was panning out.
Sure. So we just kind of looking at stuff, like we had a pretty good idea of what they were going to go. We had a couple different angles for depending on their first pick. So it was really like pretty standard. Opie not getting bans at all thrown at him was like pretty nice for him because he's always banned out in scrims. So he was elated for that. So
get the pick of the litter this time around.
Indeed. So it gets to do that. Our first round bans were pretty standard given like what they had in their OP. I'd say Aatrox, especially after the item changes, that champion is just ridiculous.
If I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
Played Aatrox in a little while. I know the Duskblade build became popular after the buffs for that, but that kind of fell to the wayside after they nerfed that item. Is it still lethality, or is it back to Gore Drinker and they're doing the Gore Drinker build?
You can still do the lethality stuff if you want, depending on the game. It's just that they changed a lot of his damages on some of his other abilities from
the AP.
Yeah, so them switching it to AP is a little tough. It means you don't get quite as much value from the item anymore. It's still good. In the games that it's good, it's still very good. I think it's still playable. But the bruiser items that got buffed are just ridiculous. Like, there's like 4 bruiser items in the game. Like Stride's good, Gore's good, Black Cleaver is still insane. Like there's just so many good bruiser items. Shojin is that item. I do not know who decided to make that change. That item is crazy. So like bruisers right now are just in a crazy good spot.
Okay.
So like Aatrox is obviously like probably the best bruiser-ish fighter in the game right now. So like even though he got some nerfs and got some things changed, he can just slot in the new items and be fine. So like if anything, I almost want to say Aatrox got slightly better on this patch, which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, we definitely just were like, yeah, we're not fighting against that. We're not playing against that. So, yeah, we went with the Kai'Sa not. It's just a strong 2v2. A strong 2v2. It's simple to really simple to execute. Obviously, like Nautilus being able to like really synergize well with like the Kai'Sa plasma stacks, like just like make the 2v2 all in like really solid. Ashe is going to be a little annoying, especially with the range disadvantage, but Kai'Sa is going to scale a lot harder than the Ashe will. Ashe this game is going to have a lot of frontline to hit. I mean, Mordekaiser, Sedge, Nautilus is going to be like a lot. If I'm the other team, I'm looking at this Ashe probably going like the on-hit build with Hurricane because she's going to be hitting frontline like basically the entire time. But yeah, for us, like we thought about Poppy on R4, like Poppy or Sedge on R4, because they had the Jarvan, but like they had Jarvan. Like Thresh is like okay, like with like Poppy, but like Jarvan was like really the only one that like Poppy was stopping, and Kai'Sa already has plenty of tools to just get out of the Jarvan R. So like it's not like we were like we don't really need to like focus too hard on that. And we already had like a strong like melee champion and Mordekaiser drafted on R3. So we were like, okay, like we can just grab Mordekaiser here on 3 and then kind of look at. Yeah, so yeah, we have this synergy there for Sedge. And then for mid, like Kai'Sa obviously can go like AP or AD. She could go like the Shiv into like the Nashor's build. Yeah, Nashor's Leandri's build. So like she can do that, or she can just go full crit if she like really wants to. So like it gives us a little bit of build flexibility, but we knew that like because of that and her having a little bit of AP damage alongside the Mordekaiser, we could definitely look at something AD mid. It opened up a couple different options. I debated Tristana for a minute. Akshan was another consideration. But like at the end of the day, we were like, all right, but like Yone does help with the Sejuani, like also with like the passive synergy. Maybe we're playing a little bit too hard into the passive synergy. It's possible. But it also is really annoying for Victor because he can kind of just E out of the Victor W.
Yeah, exactly.
So like if like Victor ever misplaces his W, like Yone's gonna get a huge trade-off in that. So and our mid-game spike is gonna be insane. Like as long as like we don't fall super far behind in the early game, like our mid-game is going to like pop off. So
in my main days, I definitely played that matchup a few times, the Yone into Victor.
Yeah. It's not necessarily like a super hard counter by any means, but like it's just a synergistic champion with like the rest of our champions. So
extra engage, a little bit of a lot more damage as well. So
yeah, the Mordekaiser into the Jarvan too is gonna feel very nice. I don't know how much bees will be alting the Jarvan as much as the Sylas per se. But I think because they already have plenty of tools to get out of the Jarvan Cataclysm. So, but I mean, even then, like it's just like it feels good. Jarvan's life feels really hard into Mordekaiser, especially once the team fights start rolling around in the mid game. So, but like I said, it's like draft is like you can speculate all you want in draft, but like teams have to execute. And at this level, I'm gonna be real. Execution is more important than like hard draft like synergies and everything.
Yeah, it's like comfort is like one of the big things we preach on Missy Cat's Black. It's like, yeah, sure, if we get a good comp, that helps, but if you're just comfortable with what you're playing, like, 9 times out of 10, that's gonna be better than playing a comp that you're not necessarily familiar with.
Do you want me to do play-by-play? Or do you want me to do color?
With whatever. I can do either, so whatever you feel like doing. If you want to save your voice a little bit, I can play by play.
I can do play-by-play. We're chilling. But yeah, it looks like we have just a little bit of a stack here. They're kind of staggered in the stack that way in case, like, if anybody shows up in the bush, they may be like, oh, it's only 2, and then 5 people just, like, roll out of nowhere. So they're kind of just playing around the fog of war right now. But it looks like Mr. Cat's White just sitting in a pretty standard 5-point right now. So nothing really gonna happen here. Sylas gonna get his back so he can get the lane in time. And overall, no level 1 shenanigans in the first Blue Otter League match for both of these teams.
Yeah, just kind of feeling each other out as you do in a best of series. A lot of times you see teams, they'll just kind of do the 5-point to start out, see how, okay, yep, the classic females, yes, ping spam in the Baron Pit, love that.
Nice little homage there.
But yeah, just kind of getting a feel for how both teams are gonna open up before the games. Yeah, so we're gonna start on the boss side here, just get that good leash from the Nautilus Kaisa. And it looks like Jarvan did a solo start on his blue, so he's gonna be passing down towards that bot lane.
Nice little trade up there in the top side. Meddlesome actually kind of just like walking into the minion wave. If Beast could have got off that auto a little earlier, probably would have taken a little bit more damage through those minions. Now we're gonna see level 2 is going to miss some abilities from both sides here. His passive is now going to tick on the Mordekaiser. Maxi might be in some trouble, just trying to wait for cooldowns. The Q is going to miss, so if he is able to get that chain back, he will not. No healing going to come through, so overall, Bees comes out on top in that trade.
I think you're like a couple seconds ahead if you want to pause for like 2 seconds and unpause.
Sure, already done. Here. Donnie coming up for the gank on the 245, and that will be first blood coming through. Sejuani was up there, but just not quite there in time, and Jarvan will be the one picking up that first blood, so not as bad, but Ice might be in some trouble here as my screen freezes. Love that. We'll actually get out Sejuani, just trying to kind of hold the wave. Beast had TP. I think it was just a little bit unnecessary. Probably should have just went back to the camps.
Yeah, you have your entire top side to farm, and now that you're 100 HP is going to make it a little difficult. Don't want to get executed, so he is going to just take it back right now. Drop a ward on his red just to make sure it doesn't get stolen. Oh, never mind, didn't complete the back. Set the red, but Jarvan is coming in towards this mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like will be spotted out there, so Egg gonna ping that one. Let Sejuani know. Sejuani's sitting very low. I'm surprised the Jarvan is not actually going in, as we see an engage go in here on the bot side. Plasma Stacks ticking on XMB. Hook going to miss Opie, and this should be a winning trade here for the Mystic Cats bot lane.
Yeah, don't quite get the wave to crash though, so they are in a bit of a weird spot where Team Cosmic Genesis has a nice release with Jarvan now being on the bot side. It's gonna spell a little bit of discomfort for the Mystic Cats bot lane, but
Maxi going in for a pretty good trade here. Really heads up play, just utilizing the cooldowns being down from Bees, but he is going to get pulled back in. Bees going to pop the shield, healing going to come through, and Meddlesome Maxi with the solo bolo in the top side. Good start for the Sylas.
yeah, Meddlesome Maxi was able to get his cooldowns back while Bees was trying to trigger it back onto him. Hook the miss from Maxi, but Squints.
XMB should go down here. Ignite is popped. Opie gonna flash forward. Auto gonna go. And the last tick will come down with the Ignite. Squints picking that kill up. But Jarvan now is coming in. Archer taking those plasma stacks is very low, but Opie should go down here on the backside, but does get a trade kill, so Archer just stepping up a little bit too far forward. Jarvan will pick up that kill as we have fighting everywhere on the map right now. Squints should escape under tower with his life. And so it's a one for one, excuse me. What is a 1-for-1 actually ends up being across the map.
Another solo rolo for the Sylas at the top side. That one, Sylas dropping down to less than 100 HP. So close, but just Vizarus is just a little too far behind right now. Wasn't able to get his stat check in.
Yeah, at this point, the Sylas really far ahead of the Mordekaiser. Osei B sitting 0-3 on the champion right now. And that's gonna be a little bit rough. Sylas being 2-0 is definitely going to be a problem, as this is one of the few champions that can really get into the backline and disrupt the comp that Mystic Cat's White has going for them, especially if he's able to take something like that Mordekaiser ult, send that Kai'Sa to the Death Realm, or send the Yone to the Death Realm. It's going to leave them very one-dimensional in terms of damage later on. And we do see level 6 get hit here from Meddlesome Maxi. Bees has to walk up to the wave because his wave is pushed up so far. The freeze being threatened, and Maxi going to pick up another kill since he walked up. Now 3-0-1 on this Sylas. And this is very quickly becoming a problem.
Yeah, just straight up bullying Bees R Us in the top lane right now. Never actually seen this matchup. Maybe it's a good matchup for the Sylas.
Early game, it's not. It's a little bit Mordekaiser sided, thanks to like Mordekaiser passive. But if the fight goes extended, it's really, really tough because you're just gonna see the Sylas out heal. As we see Donnie coming in for another bot game, but Ice is here, as we do see Archer be able to flash away. Now it's going to be a 3v3. Squints getting poked down very low, and here comes Jack on the Victor to come in and try to clean this one up. Squints will go down. Jungler soon to follow, a double kill for the mid laner. And Hook just misses, like you said. 7 minutes in. I mean, Cosmic right now just rolling over Mystic Cats, sitting at about a 2.5k gold lead, and they'll pick up the first dragon here to boot.
Yeah, Icy was looking for a play down in the bot side, but the counter gank was coming in from Donnie, and with the roam following from Jack in the mid lane, it's a numbers advantage, and they were able to pick up some kills and get the dragon for themselves.
He's forced to flash away up here in the top side as well. This thing's just going really south right now. Mystic Cats has to find a way to stop the bleeding at this point, because any more unnecessary deaths means that their kind of strong point of mid-game is kind of not going to be online. They're just going to kind of get blown right past. So they're going to have to find a play here and soon.
Yeah, the one bright spot right now is OP being about 700 gold ahead of Archer in the bot lane, having that kill for himself and about a 10 to 12 CS lead. Coming up on that static shiv soon, so once he gets that, it'll be a good power spike for him to be able to wave clear and move around the map in this game. That's what it is.
Looks like Cosmic now on the first Rift Herald up here. They have all the prio in the world, both in mid and top lane, to really go for this. So this should go very much uncontested, as Donnie going to pick that one up. We'll see where they end up electing to drop that. Probably going to be either mid or top lane. As Eggboy gonna eat over, immediately realize that he should not be there and take it right back.
It's gonna be a 4-man invade on the top side, but as they do that, Mystic Cat's White is gonna dive the Ashe, pick up another kill for OP on this Kai'Sa, and hopefully get him scaling and get him to a point where he can contest the top side of Team Cosmic Genesis.
Yeah, really nicely played dive there by OP and Squints, just like hitting. They hit all of their abilities. They layered everything well. Squints took the tower shots as well, so Kai'Sa was never really in any threat. We're gonna see the ult come in mid lane from Eggboy and completely whiff. But that is okay. I don't think Yone would have had any kill pressure there anyway if that actually did go down. That ult would be nice to have right now if you had to chain that with the Sejuani there. Stun is going to come through, but the Victor W having a lot of value as Ice going to be taken down under tower. It will be a shutdown, but definitely could have been played a lot cleaner. Opie and Squints now in some trouble as well. Hook going to come through, but the instant cleanse from Opie will at least let the trade kill come through. But either way, if you're Ashe, that's definitely worth.
Yeah. Real quick, what time are you at? I'm at 23, 24, 25.
You're a little ahead of me now.
Pause for a second. 30, 31, 32.
You're still about a second ahead of me. I'm gonna come in there with the Yone E. Jack really smartly placing the Victor W down. I did want to see if that was an interaction. The Victor would do is you actually just hold your W and wait for the Yone to E and then drop the W where his E started. So we do see Bees actually get a pretty nice trade-off there in the top side, but still definitely an uphill battle. The Sylas, however, is sitting on 1,500 gold right now, so believe it or not, the gold state is actually really even in this top lane. So if Maxi does extend a little bit too far, could be a potential misplay. We are going to see Opie get knocked up by the Jarvan, but the entire team is there. Cataclysm comes down, but it's enough damage as Victor is there. Tyson will pick up the shutdown, but the rest of the team will drop in response. Maxi going to dive Bees as well. It's an absolute slaughter across the map, and Cosmic comes out on top.
Yeah, Misty Cat's kind of overstaying their welcome in the bot lane with the lower health bars. Donnie was able to get a nice 3-man ult to lock them in for the Victor to just get big damage down to all of them. And I don't think he had the Andres at that point, but even if not, like the AoE from the Victor coming in on top of all that, makes it so they're just able to play bot lane.
Big Boy in some trouble is gonna have to ult out. We're gonna see Rift Herald dropped here mid, and that should probably, yeah, be at least 4 plates going over. Tower won't quite go down just yet. The Herald might be used a little early there, so we do see Ashe ult come down, instant cleanse, or Opie going to be able to get out of that pretty much immediately. XMB landing the hook, it doesn't matter. Now Squints landing a hook in the mid lane, and now Donnie being knocked up by the Sejuani. Flag and Drag should get the Jarvan to safety, but that's a good Sejuani ult coming through. Flash does come down. Now Jack in the wrong spot is going to be pulled back by the Mordekaiser E, and now taken to Brazil is he. And this could be a big kill for Bees to get him back on the board, and it will be 600 gold in his pocket. A huge shutdown, and with Dragon being up, this could be Mystic Cat's window to get back into this game.
Yeah, they're gonna pick up the strike for themselves.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Doesn't burst it and waits for them to come out. But yeah, they're gonna be able to pick up this Infernal trick for themselves, give them a little bit more stats to compete with the side of Cosmic Genesis.
Turret plating will soon
and
fall.
then Mordekaiser picking up that kill.
A summoner has disconnected.
Definitely gonna help a lot. Every little bit counts, especially in top lane.
Sure. Silas with that completed Everfrost and Sword Shoes as well, going to pose much more of a threat now that he's actually back and spent his gold. That tower looking pretty weak as well. But if we go back to the play, we can talk about the play that happened a little bit in the mid lane. Actually, as I do that, Jack is going to get engaged upon. Coach Eggboy is going to get stunned up by the Victor W, and we'll have to go back. Squints now going to try to retreat to safety as Bees in a little bit of a trade once again, but smartly positions himself behind a minion. But going back to that play that happened in the mid lane, I think the Rift Herald just came down just a little bit too early. You could have saved that Rift Herald for when Dragon actually spawned, and then used it as pressure mid to be able to go for that play, as B is going to get flag dragged and ulted into death. Silas did flash for that and actually did not get an assist for it, so that's a little tragic if you were the top laner of Cosmic Genesis. But I think right now, the way the map is going, you're pretty happy with things, as Coach Eggboy gonna ult to try to close the gap, but I don't think he ever catches this Victor, and that will be mid lane turret going down.
Yeah, Eggboy's flash, about 5 seconds left on the cooldown. Maybe if he had that up, he would be able to chase down the Victor for that kill, but not gonna be able to come through. We do see Victor actually picking up the USS, which I guess I understand into Sejuani Mordekaiser, but I would just opt in for finishing your second item first, because if you're positioning correctly, USS.
I will say it's not the worst buy in the world, as we do see a potential Rift Herald fight going on here. It's not the worst buy in the world, mainly because the Sylas is online. If the Victor was like kind of the main like focal point of like, okay, like I'm only AP, I really gotta like spend my gold on like full damage items, then I don't think it's allowed that he can go QSS. Because the Sylas is 4-0 in this game, I think that gives him a little bit more flexibility to be like, okay, like I'm 5-2, like I have the lead to be able to do this. And I can just take this for a little bit of added safety here in the mid-game. Like you said, though, there's not really a position where Victor is going to be the one getting Mordekaiser ulted. I say that as he's just, like, walking through the jungle with a Sejuani.
So, yeah, front line.
Yeah, Sejuani just in Wolf's Pit. But, yeah, for most of the time, like you said, like, he really shouldn't be in a position to have to worry about that too much. But it's not the worst thing in the world because of the Sylas.
That is pretty much just gonna even up the gold in the mid lane though, because you're using the money on the QSS for stats you don't really need. Like, yeah, the MR is okay, but Mordekaiser being the, I guess Kai'Sa is also building AP, but Kai'Sa having base damage kind of makes the stats not as useful. So stats wise, the mid laners are about even right now.
Yeah, B's gonna get hit up with that Everfrost, and the Mordekaiser ult will come down. So there should be another solo kill going over to Maxi here, as he does actually miss that there. So B's in the extended fight, unfortunately probably will go down if you're a Mystic Cat fan. But XMB is gonna get caught on the other side in the river. Opie gonna Killer Instinct forward. He's gonna get hooked up, but the last hit will come through. Kai'Sa picks up another kill. Mordekaiser also survived in the top side. I want to make a note of that. So really big that Bees was actually able to stay alive. Has the completed Rhyalized Crystal Scepter now as well. So it should be a little bit more sticky in some of these fights whenever he is in either small skirmishes or even in the 1v1. But I'm going to be real, I don't know if being sticky is what you want in the Sylas right now with him being 4-0-1.
Yeah, it could be good if he does end up joining this dragon fight, and if he's able to get onto the Ashe or the Victor, that'll help. But right now, Team Cosmic Genesis taking control of this river, getting vision down. They have good vision in the bot side jungle of Mystic Cats. Nice, he's gonna engage
Sylas is here for this fight as well. That's one thing to keep in mind. Ashe Era is going to come down, and the Victor ult is doing so much work. Kai'Sa knocked up in the backside. Clem's going to come down, but Meddlesome Maxi is going to be able to take out the main AD carry, and that's all the damage this comp really has at this point. Yone is not online, and it's a clean ace from Cosmic Genesis.
5 for 0, they're going to be the Cloud Dragon here. And they do have the Rift Herald from earlier. So they're going to be able to quickly knock down this tier 2 mid turret and open up this up hit. We'll see if they...
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Looks like they're just going to take the inhib.
Blue team has slain the dragon. Red team's inhibitor has been
Inhib will go down here. I'm not sure, though, if Inhib is really the play there. Actually, with it being 19 minutes, I don't think you can actually, unless they just get another 5 for 0 clean ace, I don't know if they're actually going to be able to end, and this is a really greedy play from Maxi here. If Sejuani goes over that wall, Sylas might just go down there, but regardless, as Sylas will get Lantern to safety. With that mid inhibitor being down, they have to kind of make a game. You're kind of like saying like, all right, we're going to end this game in the next 5 minutes, because if you don't, that's going to be a lot of free farm and free gold and XP just funneling into the mid lane. For a team that has 2 hyper-scaling champions, I mean, Kai'Sa and Yone can both utilize that golden experience so well. So they really need to, like, close this game out and cleanly, as Jarvan Cataclysm is going to come down, but Sejuani can just simply dash herself out of it. Baron now potentially on the table. They are probably strong enough to do this 20-minute Baron. I mean, Sylas, Victor, and Ashe with 2 items should be able to do that, and now Egg might be in some trouble here. Yone ult should potentially get him to safety as the flashes are traded out. And here comes the Yone ult now coming out as well from the Sylas. He could potentially look for this, and he does. Sylas burning quite literally everything, and the rest of his team just now on Baron as well. Cosmic Genesis just having so much control over the map right now. It kind of feels like they can almost do whatever they want.
Yeah, Yeah, and as you're saying, like the in-hit play, I feel like I was debating in my head whether it was a good play for them or not. Because it was just or die. Ash Arrow is coming out.
Squints is going to dodge it, which means Opie is going to get hit with it, but luckily there's no kill threat to really look for that. Opie did not have cleanse as well, so if there was follow-up on that, that might have just been game, I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
But
yeah, as you were talking about with the end hit, like
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
another engage.
yeah, a little bit of an overextension. The Naught Assault coming down onto the Ashe as well. Donnie should go down here as Opie still has Killer Instinct, 650 gold in his pocket. And that's a huge shutdown going over to the 80 carry of Mystic Cats.
Yeah, we'll see if I am able to get a word in about this in-hit or not, but yes, as you said, you're kind of like taking the in-hit at the 18-minute mark. You're kind of making a bet on yourself that you're going to be able to end it. And given that Team Cosmic Genesis is about 10k gold ahead, and they're able to pretty much freely take the Baron, I think it's a good purchase for them as long as they are able to open up one of the side lanes here and get a second in-hit. That'll really make it difficult for Mystic Cats to hold going into the later stages of this game. Dragon is going to be spawning in a minute 30, so looks like both teams are going to be setting up for that right now. And this could be, if Team Cosmic Genesis wins this fight, it's probably game, so Mystic Cats has to be very, very careful about how they want to do this, if they even want to contest this dragon.
Yeah, they could choose not to contest this. It isn't Soul, that one dragon that they got earlier in the game, off of that little bit of a misexecuted play in the mid lane. Actually paying off a lot of dividends here, because if this is Soul, you have to contest them. There's no question right now you have to contest them, and the Yone is still just not online at this point, so it probably would be a pretty easy win, as Opie gonna ult straight into this Sylas, but Sylas did indeed have Mordekaiser ult, and taken to Brazil was Mr. Cat's 80 carry. The shutdown will go over to the Mordekaiser, but that's not without Sylas picking up a nice kill of his own.
Yeah, and with Obi being down, him being pretty much the only threat for the side of Mystic Cats, Team Cosmic Genesis is going to go walk into this bot lane with the Baron empowered minions. Let's take this a little bit, but looks like they will back off towards the Dragon to 5 seconds.
And we'll see what Mystic Cats likes to do. If I'm them, I'm giving this up. There's no real reason your 80 carry's dead. You don't need to contest this, like I said, because it's third dragon. It's also Cloud, which is not like the most like insane soul in the world. If they get it, it's kind of whatever. But either way, 8,000 gold down right now. Your Yone's not online. You're just going to simply give this. And hope to God once your Yone gets that second item, you're kind of pushing for a winning fight after that point. We do see completed Zanya's Hourglass now as well on the Sylas, so now Sylas can basically just dive into the back line and kind of just do it for free, because if he ever gets into any trouble, he can just simply stopwatch his way out of any danger. Jack getting taken very low, is going to have to flash away, say, as the Rylai's was doing so much work, but Donnie is just there, as he's getting slowed up. Thresh Lantern now as well, just for that little bit of extra shielding. And B's going to drop there. A little bit of a rough game here on the Mordekaiser, as we're going to see Cosmic Genesis now push in for this bot lane inhibitor, which they should be able to get pretty easily.
Yeah, having the Sejuani on the Sylas here, and with his AP scaling, he's going to be
Yeah, huge ult from Max. Had the Sejuani all able to pick off Egg Boy. Jack on a killing spree, taking down Squints as well. So the rest of the team is falling back to the base. That was a super huge engage from the top laner of Cosmic Genesis, and that should result in this probably just being game right here. Egg Boy down for another 30 seconds. We didn't even get to talk about the fact that he did finally get his completed Infinity Edge, so he was online for that. So that pick ended up being very massive for them. Ice trying to kind of pull them off in front of the tower. Health bars are a little bit low, so we'll see what ends up happening. Archer does get hit with the Kaisa W. We'll see if OP looks for the Killer Instinct, and he does. Doesn't quite have the damage. Here comes the Cataclysm down. Doesn't have the Killer Instinct to peel himself away out of it. XMB will go down on the backside as Archer is going to avoid the Mordekaiser E. Squint's hook lands, but I don't think he wants to be there anymore. And Cosmic Genesis just kind of running away with things right now in the Mystic Cat's base.
Yeah, TP is going to come in. Archer's going to flash away.
Unstoppable. Shut down.
Silence being here. Looks like it's going to be all she wrote. Squint's the last man standing. Not going to be able to get away
Blue
with the
team
silence.
double kill. Red team's
Yeah,
turret has been destroyed.
26 minutes in. Very dominant game from Cosmic Genesis as they're going to go on to the Nexus Tower here. 30-14 in kills, over 10k in total. A huge performance from Meddlesome Maxi in the top side. Put them up 1-0 in the series.
The stream might be bugged.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, I'm watching right now, and it's in permanent slow-mo.
Thank you, Streamlabs.
Yeah, thank you, Streamlabs. Yeah, permanent slow-mo, and it's about 9 minutes into the game, so... But apparently the audio is... So I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well, either way, I'm going to pop back over and make sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I will try to figure this out.
Good luck, Godspeed.